Hey everyone, thanks for listening to Sex with Emily. Are you ready to get exactly what you want in the bedroom? Well, it's time to speak up. In today's show, I'm answering your emails, giving advice to help you communicate your needs. So, how do you introduce rough sex into a new relationship without scaring your partner away? And can an FWB relationship succeed without the B? Also, is there a right way to give directions in bed? All this and more. Thanks for listening.
Look into his eyes. They're the eyes of a man obsessed by sex. Eyes that mock our sacred institutions. Bedroom eyes, they call them in a bygone day.
Hey, Emily, you got a boyfriend?
Because my man E here, he just got his heart broken. He thinks you're kind of cute.
A girl's gotta have her standards. Oh my.
Do women know about shrinkage?
Isn't it common knowledge?
What do you mean, like laundry? It shrinks?
Can we not talk about sex so much?
Are you kidding me?
Oh my God, it feels so good.
Being bad feels pretty good.
But you know, Emily's not the kind of girl you just play with.
You're listening to Sex with Emily. We're talking about sex, relationships, and everything in between. For more information, go to sexwithemily.com where you can have a party. There's so much happening at sexwithemily.com. God, you guys have been going there a lot. It's amazing to see how many of you are liking our articles and reading them and sharing them in our blogs and following us on social media. It's so easy to do that. You get there, sexwithemily.com, subscribe. We make it easy. Newsletter, social media, shop at our store. Hang out, send me an email. So fun, right, Menace?
It's absolutely fun.
I'm here with Menace.
Hey,
I'm so excited to see you.
I haven't seen you forever.
I know.
The last time I saw you, I'm sure you've talked about this on the show since I haven't been on here, but the last time I saw you, I felt so bad because I left you in a hospital.
I know, dude.
So I haven't seen you at all since.
And no.
So I have no idea, what has happened since then or what's going on. I just left you and then I traveled the world and I came back.
You saw me in the hospital for the spider bite. I did talk about it on a show with Anderson when he was here, but yeah, how gnarly was that? Look at my finger though, so much better.
Wow. It looks great. Yeah. It looked like it wanted to fall off last time I saw you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was pretty traumatic. I was there for. It meant a lot that you were there and you hung out.
Yeah.
You stayed.
Honestly,
and
I
made
would have
home.
stayed the whole time, but I had to catch a plane.
Dude,
But the crazy thing is that you're okay, and you almost died.
Right.
To be honest.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And
No, I did.
I can't believe that you went through all that, and then you're fine now.
I'm fine now.
Obviously, you sound a little bit sick.
Well, because what happens is they were flooding me. It turns out that sometimes antibiotics don't work. And so they were giving me every antibiotic. I got shots of antibiotics. I had an IV in my arm for 4 days. So after you do that, your immune system's down. Mm-hmm. So I caught this cold 2 days, then I moved.
Yeah.
That's stressful, as you know.
Yeah.
That was boxes. And can't, me, I'm sick. I'm out of the hospital. I'm going to move now. I'm better. Mm-hmm. And then I then at a conference, of course, I had my crazy sex conference month at the beginning of January, which every year we have, but I just got sick. And so, the last 2 weeks I've had a cold. But I'm moving.
You're here.
I'm so happy. I'm in paradise now in my new home, which you have to come over and party there.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
I want to check it out.
I haven't really done anything yet to it, but it's amazing. The bones, it's already great with just the couch in my bed.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in the middle of moving too, so I understand your pain.
Yeah, it's just moving.
Yeah.
Death and taxes. Is that what they say? Is the hardest thing.
It's just so much work.
It is.
But anyways, what's going on in your personal life?
My personal life, I've been everything's good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Cool.
I've been rotating and nothing I don't have anything great, no great stories
because I haven't been around to play around with your Tinder or your Bumble or whatever.
Dude, do you want to start swiping?
Yeah.
You got me into it. You're the one who matched me and started going.
I've never experienced it, so I got to live through you and.
Dude, I haven't even opened it. It's kind of scary though when you open it because then you're ooh, all these people.
Yeah, but I can filter out the douchebags. You have a really bad douche meter.
I know. It's my my gaydar. I'm I don't know if anyone's gay. I don't even pay attention.
My douche meter.
Who
my douche meter bats at 1,000. My gay meter bats at 1,000. So
really?
oh yeah, it's funny because my coworker, he was previously married to a woman, and no one ever thought he was gay. In the first 3 seconds, I could tell that he was a gay guy.
Right.
And then they're like, "Wow, you're so good at this."
You're good at the gaydar game.
Well, living in San Francisco so long, you pick up You pick
yeah,
up
that's
really
true.
good, good gaydar, but your douche meter.
Dude, I never date
Broken.
douches. I think that you're like
They're
protective
so-
older brother or something, or younger brother, because you're like, oh, they're
No,
not douches.
I find
you met
ones
one
that
guy.
don't look like douches on Tinder
Yeah,
and
but
Bumble.
that's not true.
Just give me your phone.
You say
I'll do it.
Eddie has my phone.
okay.
Assistant Eddie has my phone. So luckily you can't do that right now.
Yeah.
But so no, there has been. I did start doing it before, but it gets a little overwhelming, and then you have to like delete the apps, and then you're like, oh, I want to go back on the apps. But right now, it's all my life is kind of perfect right now in a weird
good.
fucking way. So, but speaking of relationships, Valentine's Day is coming up.
It is. We're gonna have you on the Woody Show.
Yeah, I'm excited
in
for
Los
that.
Angeles.
I had a friggin' blast there. I got to teach that girl how to give her an orgasm.
I know,
mean,
Julianne.
I'm personally not going to do it, but she hasn't had an orgasm yet.
That's what she
I gave
told
her like
you.
the We Vibe touch. What did we
Yeah.
give her? The touch, the tango.
I think so.
Oh,
yeah.
we'll bring her a womanizer, dude.
That's what I said from the beginning. but you're
Okay.
like, oh, it's too.
No, you know what?
It might be too heavy.
No,
in the beginning.
no. The womanizer is the guaranteed sure thing. It's a 60-second orgasm. It's like, it literally is like, hello, clitoris. It's an orgasm machine. I
right,
named
good.
the Clit Whisperer.
Yeah, so
so you guys remind me when I go, and I'll bring gift stuff for everyone.
Cool.
But speaking of, but Valentine's Day, we are having a little giveaway here.
All right, good.
What's the best Valentine's Day you've ever had? What made it so memorable? We want to know, was it like the perfect gift? Was it like a great date? Special occasion sex? So we want to hear from you, and email us at feedback@sexwithemily.com by February 7th, because you can win a magic wand rechargeable, which is like worth it enough. Come up with your great toy, with your great story.
Good.
I don't know if I've got like a great. I did tell a story a few weeks ago about last year, because you remember this guy I was dating came on. He was like, do you remember I brought a suitcase of toys to his house?
Yes.
And I literally have so many toys, and I got to try them, and I'm like busy, and I'm like, oh, and then I decided that night that I should bring them all to his house, and then I woke up with like a ball gag and a collar around my neck. That was a fun night.
Sweet.
So we want to hear from you about that, and and I'll be on there on the Valentine's
on the
Day.
Woody Show, Alt 98.7 in Los Angeles and Alt 104.9 in St. Louis, Missouri. And you can hear it on the Woody Show podcast later.
They love you in St. Louis.
They do. St. Louis and LA. It's been great.
Okay, good. Proud of you. And we're going to go into a little sex in the news. This one was specially picked because there is now a study that has come out that's going to answer a question that you've been asking me for 12 years.
All right.
Do you know what this question is? There's been so many things.
A question.
Come on, what do you think it is?
I mean, there's
Are you-
two.
Okay, good. Tell me.
Well, there's two. Not a question.
Yeah, just
well,
like-
one was a statement, and then the second one, was the actual question was why people are into feet. Is that it? No. Why would anybody ever want a hand job over anything else?
Not the
'Cause
hand
that's
job debate.
That's a waste
Nope.
of effing time.
Okay.
A guy will take one if
You've
you
asked
get it.
me sometimes. You said, Emily, like, I've always talked about foreplay. And I've always said,
Oh, yeah.
you're like, okay, but Emily, just tell me how long.
Yeah, like
how long do you do it?
what's the scientific amount of time?
Right. There's a study.
Oh, sweet.
Dude,
Finally.
how long great foreplay should last. Now, you guys
right.
know I'm a huge foreplay fan of foreplay.
Can you break down what is foreplay?
Yes,
and
that's
what
a really
isn't?
a
Okay.
really good question.
Cool.
Foreplay is the acts that are leading typically up to intercourse, to PV sex, PV sex,
Yeah, but couldn't like a blowjob not be foreplay? I think I wouldn't put that in the
so
foreplay
I see what you're
category.
saying.
I say like foreplay is like
touching and
touching
kissing,
each other and kissing
massage,
each other, but not
like lap dance. You
not
know,
any like type of stroking or anything like that. I don't think it's foreplay.
No, I think we're getting caught up in technicalities now. I mean,
Yeah.
I think that yes, if you're giving a blowjob, you're like, but that could be that's an act in itself, a standalone. And I see what you're saying, but foreplay is like slow. I always say like slow down, go 5 times slower than you should. It's typically slowing down and dressing your partner, making out, kissing. Mm-hmm. You know, kissing's the first thing that goes in long-term relationships. When was the last time you had a make-out sesh with your girlfriend?
Me? Probably last night. I'm good about that, but not like 15 minutes long or anything.
No,
like
I
that.
know.
But,
Okay, so
like,
making out, slowly undressing, touching her breast. But yeah, I mean, you could say that the blowjob is, or oral sex is foreplay.
I know. That's why
That's
I
you
wouldn't
always
put
ask me
that.
how
In,
long
I
should
wouldn't
last.
put that in the category.
You know, massaging, it doesn't matter. It is still before the actual act, but I know
Yeah.
it's like, it's the teasing. Let me read you the study. Okay,
right.
so here's the thing. we all know, I know, it's very important, but 9 out of 10 experts agree that when done right, women really, really enjoy foreplay because foreplay is amazing. Honestly, I just made that stat up, but it's true. Really, that's pretty amazing. Okay, in fact, some might argue that it's better than actual sex. People would say better oral play, because the buildup of sexual tension that comes from getting handsy with one another is downright otherworldly. So what they're saying here is like the buildup, the tension for, especially for women, I think, and maybe men who aren't totally conscious of it, but that like, you know, the newness of a relationship when you build arousal and the excitement, like that's what foreplay is. And so for women, since we are like slow cookers and men are frying pans, we need longer to get warmed up. We actually sometimes kind of prefer the arousal part.
Yeah.
A lot of us don't pay enough attention to this very important part of sex. Therefore, it doesn't last as long as it should, or it completely evaporates altogether. That's what happens. There are scientific subtleties to the perfect foreplay, and they offer some advice about what will make foreplay great. So they did this study around the world, and they came out that ideally foreplay should last 18 minutes.
18 minutes.
Yes, 18 minutes. Not 20.
Seems pretty long, but I guess.
18 minutes. And no, not every
like
time. You could have a quickie.
All right, just talk. I mean, you just talk for a minute, and it feels like an eternity.
I do.
But no. But I'm saying in general, you know, just think about that time. Anybody listening to this podcast, try to talk for a minute. It will feel like 5. And then break that down into like 18 minutes of making out. That seems pretty long.
So you're talking for a minute, like, hey, honey, how was your day?
And then, like, feel how long that is.
But
and
it's
then
like making out.
That's
okay, but let me tell you about foreplay, too. I always say that foreplay starts after the last orgasm.
Yeah.
What do I mean by that? You could actually clock some of these minutes throughout the week before you even see your partner. Let's say you don't live together or with your girlfriend. You could text them something like, hey, last night was so hot. I was thinking about, like, when your cock was in my mouth. Or how hot you looked in that sexy lingerie. Like it's reminding them, so you're putting a visual image in their head and they're like, oh wow, you like that. And then you're like, and next time we're gonna, you know, when you walk in the door, I'm gonna be waiting for you with handcuffs in and like, you know, around my head. Like I'm gonna be, you know, or, you know, you send a sexy picture or just like dirty talk. I mean, these can all be ways to lead up until the next time, especially because our brain is the largest sex organ, and that's where a lot of the arousal comes in. So it doesn't have to be the 18 minutes of painful.
No, I'm not saying that.
Play,
Look,
work.
If somebody wants to make out for 2 hours, who cares? But I'm just saying, I mean, if that's what your partner wants to do, then you should just do it. But don't think it doesn't feel long.
Okay,
you know?
but here's the thing. And another thing I always say about foreplay, I think it's here on the wall, that foreplay is not just a suggestion, it's a requirement, okay? So it's like women, we actually require it to get turned on. We need that, like...
Yeah.
And I'm
this
not
is the
saying
part that
every
sucks.
time.
This is why the earth fucking blows.
Right, I know. There's a million reasons.
The guy
Men and women, I know.
The guy's ready within half of a second, and now he has to make out with you for 18 minutes, and he has to, you know, stay erect. I mean, he doesn't have to, but it's going to go. It's going to go.
Yeah, but it can come back.
I'm just saying.
It can come back.
I'm just trying to see. I'm just.
I understand
your. I
understand the plight. I understand the plight of you. Of your
I'm gonna go.
Your sexual
I'm
life.
gonna go ahead and know. Look, if any guy is telling you different, he's a fucking liar. I'm sorry.
Some guys' penises actually get turned on when they're performing oral sex on a woman or turning them on because they see that their partner's getting turned on. It's reciprocal.
That's a totally different subject. What I'm saying is, going through that process of a guy is, you're immediately erect when you're making out, right? Usually, and then you just go in waves up and down.
It's a good thing.
Through the 18 minutes. But
ride that wave, baby. Ride that wave.
But you wouldn't be able to perform. You're not going to be able to perform that well when you actually have penetration because you went through this up and down cycle for 18 minutes.
Right.
Instead of just going.
But if you're really turned on, right. Okay. So
you're trying to tell me how I'm feeling.
I don't know about your penis, and I don't know how your penis reacts.
I'm just saying.
But
I don't know how it feels for a woman, so I can't tell you how you should feel in that 18 minutes. But I'm telling you right now, as a man, that's how men feel in 18 minutes.
Okay, some men. We never make generalizations here and say every man.
I'm going to say 90% of men.
Okay, you can say that, Menace, whatever you want. Maybe your friends feel that way that you talk to.
What guys are you talking to that's telling
Menace,
you different?
And I'm not saying every time. You think that guys are like, oh God, I hate going down. It's like
No,
Most men, their penises
You're putting
are
words in my
fine.
mouth. When did I say that?
I don't know. I don't know what you're
See?
saying. Okay, we're just moving on. Because we've had this debate before. So
Yeah.
I get it. Poor guy, you got so turned on, and now you have to wait for sex, and it's not as
I'm not
hard.
saying poor guy, like a guy's gonna do
Okay,
it.
but
too.
guess what?
I'm
She's
just
not
telling you
wet.
the
She's not into it.
I'm just telling you the thought process of a man.
I understand. Of some men.
That's
Men of your
okay.
genre.
All right, of my
Okay.
genre.
So have you petted, for 20 minutes, an extra lengthy blowjob? Oral sex is foreplay.
Yeah.
All that, that could be like you could broaden your horizons, give a massage. Like if you shower together, if you go to dinner and have and you talk, that can be foreplay. Like, like you start making out in the bathroom on the way home. Like I'm not saying it's this linear 20 minutes in bed at home. I'm just saying you should be thinking about if you know that you're going to have sex or you want to have sex that night or obviously you're with your partner, there's little things that you could sprinkle throughout the day, throughout the week to add up to your 18 minutes. I'm not saying you need to clock them all. I'm like, it's like a cheat. It's like a hack. Here's your foreplay hack.
Yeah.
You can get those minutes in other times. It's like the steps. It's like your Fitbit. And you're like, oh, I should just go to the gym work. No, you can go walk to the store. Walk a little farther in the parking lot and get 10 more steps. It's like that for sex.
All right.
Okay. You feel okay with that?
I do.
Awesome, Menace. Okay, we are going to take a quick break. And I just want to thank everyone for supporting our sponsors because I love them. And I never, ever, ever talk about a product or anything at all, a sexual product that I have not tried, used, that I don't love, or any service. So thank you for supporting them and helping keep the show free. We'll be right back. All right. Okay, Menace.
All right.
Emails.
Yes, my favorite.
I know, and we're getting so many emails. Well, per usual, but even more. You were not here when we did a show with the staff, the team, and we talked about
I love
this.
that.
2016 was literally the best year for Sex with Emily in these 12 years because we had more listeners, more people email us, more people went to the website and joined us on social media and just asked us questions. And it was an incredible.
You finally have a good team of people. It's
all
all
bringing
good.
it up.
What?
I know. They're lifers, dude. It was growing pains.
Yeah, no, it's all good now. But the other thing, I shouted you out today on the radio.
You did?
Yeah, because we're talking about something that has to do with sex and stuff. And I forgot.
Everything I learned about sex, I learned in Sex with Emily.
No, I think I was just saying like people should go to sexologist.com and check out, toys and stuff like that.
Oh, on the Woody Show?
Yeah, on the
That's
Woody Show.
nice.
And we're talking about how, we're also talking about how they did a study about chemicals in toys, like regular toys for children versus sex toys, and how sex toys are actually
Oh, well, they're regulated. Yeah, they're much
safer than
It's true.
toys that are actually out
It's
there.
so true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, now I think they're getting better with children's, but that is true. It's very regulated. I mean, the stuff in sex toys when we started 12 years ago was like, it was, dangerous. And now it's like really all about body safe materials.
Yeah.
Those are the only toys we talk about on the show and products. So thank you. And someone else told me that was, that they're like, I heard you talked about on Menace on the show.
I shout you out all the time. You
I
don't believe
love
me.
that. I do believe you. I'm just not up at 6 a.m. to listen to you, but I feel you.
All right, good.
Okay, so anyway, you can send us an email, and here's the easy way to do it. Go to sexwithemily.com, click on the Ask Emily form, and then you fill out the form, hit submit, that's it. And now there's an option. You can just say, if you want to be called. We've been doing some call shows where we set up the calls ahead of time if you'd like to be called, and we will help you through it and get deep on your issues. Just check that box. You can even leave me a voicemail, 818-ASK-SWE1. That's 818-SWE1.
Good. Can we get to that in 2 seconds?
Yeah, dude, you just
remember
had your brain just exploded.
Yeah, because
What?
I remember
Tell
another thing.
me.
Because I talked about you for a good minute on the radio today, and it was the other thing. We got a message from one of our listeners saying that she's doing a challenge of trying to have sex every day with her husband for a year.
Good.
For a year. And I brought up how, many times we brought up the 30-day challenge, which has always been really good for people. But this girl was trying to go for a full year.
Yeah. No,
she thought it was crazy.
It is crazy. I was on with Dr. Drew's HLN show like a year ago. I think it was the Valentine's Day show. And there was a woman who did the same thing for a year. She wrote all about it. Like I think it's on a Huffington Post or something about how for 1 year she had sex every day and what it really taught her about how much closer it brought her husband and helped them communicate and brought them closer together, like the ups and downs of it. But how their sex life went to the roof. If you commit to doing anything for a year every day, like I meditate every year. This year I do most days now. The last, been trying for 20 years to get it set schedule, but I have for the last now 3 months, I think, every day. And I just signed up for like a year, and that's pretty scary. But again, like everything in life, one day at a time.
Yeah.
Was she What'd she say about it?
Oh no, we just read about it. It was on our profile.
Oh,
and it said,
it's a new story.
Because she like messaged us about something else, and we read on our profile like currently doing a challenge of having sex every day with my husband, blah blah. And we were trying to figure out like how is that possible. Because she was also a mother, and that causes conflict within the relationship.
Time.
And you get in fights in general. But when we've talked about the 30-day challenge, people, even though if you get in a tiff or an argument, you still just push through it and make sure you stick to it.
Yeah, no, I think it's really good to have those kind of goals. I mean, yes, it might be a little extreme for some people, but try it for a month. And here's the thing: it doesn't have to be like intercourse every night. You could it's okay if you mutual masturbation, give each other a massage, like connect intimately for a month. And it's like they say it takes 21 days to create a habit. And I actually believe that that's true. There's a few things in my life that I've done that with, and it like has totally stuck with me. One of them is meditation. The other one is flossing.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding you. And maybe it's my brain. I'm like, oh, day 22, I did it. But if you can just like a reminder on your phone, and when you don't want to, you just you do it. Even if you one night. Because I think people get discouraged. So let's say you commit to every night, like we have to have full-on sex. Let's say you just make out this one night, and you're like, babe, I'm tired. At least you made out. Like maybe you haven't made out. Like, and then sometimes people would say, well, we didn't do it tonight because we just made out. I'm throwing in the towel. I failed. No, keep going. It's okay. It's like you're at least trying, and it's part of your consciousness. You should do it. The other thing was meditation, and my intensity by Pro my Kegel exercise. It works. 21 days.
That's great.
Have you tried that with anything?
I have not.
You haven't changed your ways.
Do you know what else I talked about on the radio today?
Tell me more.
My top 10 favorite items at Taco Bell. I know you really want to hear that, so I'll give you a copy.
Please do send that to me. Yes. I was somewhere recently. Menace is obsessed with Taco Bell, and I don't remember where would I have been recently, because I haven't been anywhere but sticking up. Someone was like so excited. Something came out about Taco Bell in the news or something.
Oh, just recently they had this chicken shell taco.
Yeah. But like I was somewhere like, oh yeah, the Taco Bell thing. I'm like, how do people? Where is a Taco Bell?
Every 5 feet. It's from Southern California. They were founded in Downey, California, which is probably without
and you got to go on a tour.
35 minutes, and they're based in Irvine, California.
Would you rather go to Disney World VIP pass for a day or back to Taco Bell headquarters again for a day?
I was just at Disney World a couple weeks ago, and I probably Taco Bell.
Is Mickey Mouse dressing up as you now?
No.
That'd be interesting.
But what's really cool about Orlando, Epcot, it's set up like every section of the world, so, and they have bars at everyone. So you're in Japan, you're in Mexico, like
doing shots.
You just get hammered like all the way around.
Oh, because you were in Florida. That's where I used to go as a kid. Mm-hmm. We didn't. Not Disney. What is that?
Orlando.
Disney World.
Disney World,
right? Right. Disney World, Disneyland is here, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
But that's where I went as a kid for the first time. It's amazing. It's a small world and all.
Yeah, it was great. But all right, fine. Let's talk to the people. I'm sorry.
Okay. No, I love. But here's my other question for you though.
Yeah.
You talked about this morning on the radio that you remember. Do you remember everything you say? And like, I always talk about this radio amnesia. Like, I don't often remember what happens on the show. Like, if you brought it up, I would. But don't things just kind of go in and out? Your brain.
I do remember a lot of things that will stick out. Throughout the.
But some days you don't. Yeah.
But some days, I totally.
Yeah, I'm like I was there.
Yeah.
People are like that time like Madison, producer Madison, be like, oh yeah, when you and Madison, I'm like we didn't happen. Yeah. We didn't do that. Okay. So the other thing I want to say, as always, we love when you include, this is Menace's rules and mine, but you started it, gender, your age, where you live, and how you listen to the show, and your age.
It gives us a better understanding of
Helps
where
us.
you're
age
at
is
in
really
life.
important.
Oh, another subject.
Dude, what? Tell me.
Sorry.
I know we've seen each other since the hospital.
I know, it's been forever.
Tell me.
But yeah, we were talking about age, and it's asked today we asked listeners, what point in life do you think you had it all together? Like, what age were you?
Oh, interesting.
And there was actually a scientific thing where they asked, a whole bunch of people, and they said not until they were 37 where they felt like they actually had it together.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Are you 37 yet?
I am, but
Thank
I
God.
felt like I got it more together around 32. where that's like where I finally like.
trying to think when you got it all together. I feel like you got it together this year. I actually feel like you are a man. Like you feel like a man to me. Like you feel like an adult.
Yeah?
In the last year and a half.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
we had some time apart because you were living here before me.
Only a year. It was really dark.
Yeah.
What about men and women? 37.
Yeah, around that age.
And
where
that
people
was
start feeling like they got it together. Because I think like around that
I think
time.
you ever have it together.
No, you never do. But
There's
I'm just
days.
like, it's like because when you get out of college or when you're like in your early 20s, you're like, okay, I'm just gonna get out and I'm gonna make more money than my parents. I'm gonna be living large, and like the world doesn't work that way.
It doesn't. You need
takes
the time
a
on
lot
the
longer,
earth.
So like when you're in your 20s and you're struggling, just know that eventually it will get better
Right.
as you get older.
That's
So
a really good message.
I know that you want to like kill it right out the gate, but it just doesn't happen that way.
Yeah, no, you're right, Menace. I wish I knew that, and people probably tried to tell me that in my 20s, but I was so angst-ridden in a different kind of way than now. But I'm actually less now. I'm much more subtle now. But I was like, I've got to kill it with my career. And I moved to San Francisco the day I graduated. I was like, it all mattered. Everything was important. And it's funny because when I read through like a lot of our listeners in their 20s and they're like, I don't, we'll get into it. But like, I can't get over this relationship. It'll never.
I
And you're
know.
like, and you want to be like, you're 23, your whole life. But you can't say that because at the time it's a real angst. But just know that like you literally like even if you think you're mature and you got it all together, you're mature, but you haven't had enough days on the planet to actually understand all the things in life and to have it together. Like you haven't lived enough time.
And I know everyone always says this, oh, well, if I knew the stuff that I knew now back then, and it's absolutely true.
But you don't.
You don't.
And that's, you got to go through all those things to learn to get to where we learn from all these lessons
All right,
in
fine.
life.
We can hear from
That
people.
doesn't kill you, makes you stronger. Like the Black Widow bite made me stronger. I got special
know,
powers.
right?
It's really
I know.
weird.
You're like crawling on the walls.
Dude,
and stuff
I
now.
am.
You're shooting
After.
webs everywhere.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my God. People are trying to stop me with their foot.
Yeah.
Okay. Not really. Hi, Emily. Thanks for the sex empowerment you offer to everyone. I have a question about introducing bondage and other intense actions. Oh my God. It says such as choking, but I thought it said such as cooking. I have
Okay.
contacts today for
Yeah,
the first
yeah,
time,
yeah.
and I was like,
Cooking.
you want to do cooking and bondage? That sounds fun.
Emily's very against that.
Okay, have a question about introducing bondage and other intense actions such as choking. I actually scared a guy and he immediately friend zoned me when I asked him to choke me in bed. That's obviously not my future goal, so I'm hoping you can help me with figuring out a way to reassure someone they aren't hurting me. And also, how to start using ties during sex. Thanks again for the great advice, and I love listening here in Minnesota.
Ooh, Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Damn.
Snow.
must be so cold.
Kelsey, 26. Okay. So, Kelsey, here's the deal. I love that you're asking for what you want in bed, first of all. I get that it can be alarming for a guy if you were like, hey, choke me, for men. Like, I think that I can understand this, Kelsey. I'm glad you're asking because for some guys, you're told your whole life, like, treat women with respect and like don't hurt them and don't consent and all these things, and then all of a sudden a girl's like choke me and it's like,
and you don't know like
what? Like
you don't know. Honestly, I don't even know in her relationship how well she knows that person. Some guys might be afraid, like, whoa, I don't want to get in trouble.
That's what I'm
I don't know-
saying.
I don't know the situation,
Right.
Things like that. So yeah.
And it was like a casual thing, and now she just wants to know though, like, but she's into it, which is totally cool that she's into it. But I get that. I understand why some guys would be like, yeah, like I'll do it. So I understand it can be confusing for men because they don't really, or women, like this happens a lot with partners. They ask you to do something and they don't want to please you. They don't know how. So I'm glad that you're asking for what you want. And it might have made him insecure because he didn't know how to do it or whatever it is. But sometimes you need to tread lightly and, show your partners what you want. And this can happen like gradually in bed, like you can, put his hands on your neck. You can be like, hey, put your hands here, like, and ask him like how, he feels about it. You'd be like, you could take it, like literally be like, can you just keep your hands there? That feels good. Or like squeeze it a little harder. Like instead of saying choke me, you could like show him. But if you talk to him about it, sometimes communication in sex can, kind of get lost. So you can let him know also, like if this is a guy that you're actually dating, let's say you're in a relationship, okay, and you've been wanting to get man or woman, you've been wanting something and it's just like in the bedroom, it's getting communicated. You could explain to him like why it feels good and like what you like about it. So for example, like, let's say, you're with a partner, Kelsey, in the future. You're like, you know what? I just think it's really hot. Like, when you choke me, I just get this feeling of, like, you're in control. And for some women, like, holding their breath actually like, can intensify their orgasm. So, like, orgasm. So explaining that to your partner can kind of so they just understand where you're coming from. But I think it's important to like make this a teachable moment, Kelsey. So, with your partners, like explaining to them why it feels good, whether it's outside the bedroom, and just explaining why it feels good and all that, and teaching them how. So as for the ties, I personally love the sport sheets under the bed restraints. Menace, you know what those are, right? I've talked those out. Like they've been under my bed for a really long time. Like I've always have them there. They're so easy to use because they're Velcro. So getting tied up with your partner is not like such a, you don't have to get like handcuffed like a tie with a key. They're like always there, and you literally, if your partner can't use Velcro, we've got other issues. You literally put them around your hand. So they're really comfortable.
They have that bedspread, right?
The bedspread that you put the Velcro on. Yeah, exactly.
Crazy.
Yeah, they have all that stuff. So it's really comfortable and easier to use in like a silk ties or like a rope. Like he might be wearing like, you want me to tie you up, and I don't know how to do those fancy tie up, knots and stuff. So you can find those at sportsheets.com. You could also give him like a scenario. So let's say now you get the cuffs. Text him before you see him. You could say something like, I got these new cuffs. I want, you could show him a picture of like maybe one of them on your wrist. And like, I can't wait for you to try them on me. You could also send him a pic so he knows what to look forward to. And I think that cuffs are a good gateway to get on board before maybe you leave the choking if you're with a new partner. I mean, maybe he'll just try to choke you. God, these days some guys just do that. They it's kind of, they see it in porn. I think that in recent years, like there's been a lot more choking porn. But just let him know, like build up to it. So I don't think you're going to scare him about it. So just be playful with it. And so just be playful. Cuffs, I think, are easy board, like a good gateway. And again, sport sheets, love them. And Menace, this just reminded me. So when I was moving, I moved finally. I was in a place for 3.5 years. And I moved in the morning. And I had to come back because I forgot I had to move out of 2 places because, as you recall,
you got a place.
I moved into a place for one night, and it was too loud, and I moved out, and I got a new place. So I had to move out of 2 places. So we rushed out, got everything, and later that day I had to come back and get the food, and I was like, and my landlord was there, and he came back in with his girlfriend, and I love them. They're so great. They live in the front house. They came back, and I'm like, oh, we loved you. It was so great living here. And I go back in my bedroom. I'm like, you guys, I'm leaving you my bed if you want it. I have this really cool bed and my mattress. Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, my underbed restraints are literally like, my sheets are off. The whole house is empty, but the last friggin' thing in my house were my underbed restraints. Oh no. And I was like, I just have to like grab something here, and they're watching me, and I start to pull, like they start coming out under the bed, and you can't hide what they are. They're coming. I'm like, I forgot these, and I just put them in my bag. And, wow. Yeah, my last thing.
Nice.
No, they don't. Nice, but they've seen everything. They've seen the Sibians, the whole thing. It's all fine. Yeah. Okay. We have another email.
All right.
Okay. Hey, Emily, thanks for your time. I'm currently talking to a 29-year-old woman. We get along great and have discussed sex. I only want a friends with benefits type situation, and she said that she's willing to try that. However, she has so far shown no physical interest in sex. She's never had an orgasm and doesn't masturbate because she doesn't like the thought of it. I'm more than willing to wait till she's fully comfortable. The sex is better that way anyway. But I'm not sure what she wants. I'm slightly worried that if we continue to talk flirtatiously, as we have been doing, that we may not be able to be just friends with benefits after too long. Naturally, as you talk intimately for longer, the more attached you'll feel. A long-term relationship is not a possibility for me. I have health issues. I just don't know what I want, but for now it's a casual relationship. For this reason, I refuse to be with someone and hurt them badly by leaving. That's not good to be. That's not going to be how I leave this world. I'm all about fun and need some advice, as ultimately I just don't want to hurt her. Do I stay or do I go? Thanks for your time. Big fan of your work, Kieran. P.S. I approached the subject with her, but it's hard to say nicely, what I want from us. You need to decide what you want. Okay, here's the deal. Karen, you want a friends with benefit relationship. I totally get it. You both have to be on board. I don't think that you want to be this woman's teacher. You're at the point, like, you got to be on the same page to be friends with benefits. You deserve, like, to be with someone who can meet you, like, halfway with your needs. You don't want to compromise it, You should find people who are, like, you don't want to be with this woman that you're teaching her how to have sex with you. Like, that if she's not experienced, she's never had an orgasm before, you kind of want to be, you're right. She is going to get attached and she's going to get intimate. I mean, here's a key thing I say about friends with benefits. It's a short-term relationship typically. One person, in short-term, however you define it, could be 6 months, a year, but typically they work when you're both casual, and eventually either A, someone's going to get more feelings than the other person, and then they're going to want more, or someone's going to fall in love with someone else, and it's going to end. So it is a temporary situation anyway, and it sounds like you're with someone who you've gone out a few times, you're not even having sex yet, she's never had an orgasm. Like, I don't think you want to go down this road with her. So you need to...
Definitely not.
You're just like barking down the wrong friends with benefits tree. And I would just tell her, that's not what we're looking for. Not the kind of relationship you want. Right? Friends with benefits, you've had that.
Yeah, but it always wants, somebody always wants more. It doesn't really work out.
Okay. Right, exactly. You know that. Okay. Hi, Emily. Longtime listener, first time asking a question. I'm about 3 months out of my first serious relationship at the ripe old age of 27. I broke things off with my ex-girlfriend because it felt as if she kept pushing me away. Our sex life was completely non-existent. Her exact words were that she felt we didn't have chemistry. She'd offered to have sex with me to make me happy, but otherwise didn't feel like it. I'm not one to force things, and I wasn't crazy about the idea of having someone having sex with me just to make me happy, so I never pressured her to have sex. I tried to be patient and work things out because I understand everyone has different needs, but I decided to break things off shortly thereafter. Having said that, I'm wondering, why is it so tough for me to move on? I know I made the right decision, but it doesn't make it any easier. She made me so happy. I feel I'm ready to date other people, but now part of me just wonders where things went wrong and if I could have done something differently. Thanks for listening. Lorenzo, age 27. Lorenzo, this is the first relationship, so I think it's totally normal. You get hung up. This is what we're talking about, it being, it's your first 20s. You haven't lived
different phases in your life.
Yeah, your first relationship is hard. Like, that is the one we usually are hung up on for a while. Like, because you have no reference points to go back to. Like, I can get through this. I know that I'll meet someone else. So I think we're never getting over something that's so meaningful.
Yourself.
Yeah.
You think, where did it go wrong and all kinds of stuff like that.
Exactly. So it's very normal and regular, especially with the first one.
Yeah, and you're so young. Oh, my God.
I know.
There's so many other...
But, and I want, when I was on Loveline... Seriously, when I was on Loveline, we were just, every night, it's we get these calls more from men than women. I think that men, in a way, get more attached. There's something happening in the world. I don't know what it has to do with men, but I didn't used to see this. That younger guys, I think... It's harder for them to get this obsessive, I can't get over it. That's all I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
And I think it's, again, this is normal, regular. You're 3 months out. That's not very long. It might take a little longer. It just takes time to process everything. And I think that you need to, when you break up with someone, is another teachable moment in your life. We should really learn from these times. It took me a long time to learn these lessons as well, that it's so easy to jump into something and to kind of forget what happened in the past. But I think it's good that you're actually mourning it and you're thinking about it. But rather than living as much time in the regret, because I think something that doesn't change as you get older, eventually it does, but even into your 30s, you think, did I make a mistake? Will I find someone better? Mm-hmm. And, you keep replaying over in your head, well, if only I had done this right or that right. And I think that's a normal kind of rumination that we do after relationships. But hopefully that has run its course, because eventually you got to start looking towards the future and thinking about what you learned in that relationship and what you could do differently. So, it does take time to process it, figure out what you want and what you're looking for in your next relationship. And the next stage really is accepting, what happened and moving on, and just trust yourself that you made the right choice, and I kept thinking about this because I don't know anyone who's spent their entire life pining over the fact that they made a mistake over a relationship. Typically when you leave a job, leave a house, like you said, you got a new apartment, these things that are really hard, moving cities, breaking up with someone, those are really good changes in life that I think usually will come out you made the right choice. I think just change is good. And you weren't getting sexually, she wasn't happy sexually, you went through this for a while. I think, it was the right choice.
And you have it so much easier now with Tinder and Bumble to so much access to find somebody else to hang out with.
And the more you start, hanging out with people, I think you're going to start to move past this.
Yeah.
But we do have this euphoric recall. We break up with somebody, and we tend to remember only the good stuff.
Yeah,
Put him on a
never the bad
pedestal.
stuff. Yeah.
We're like, oh my God, everything was amazing. Like, I literally have to call my friends sometimes and be like, I did this recently. Like, I do this. I just fleck back to someone I was dating. I'm like, oh, he looks so cute on Facebook. And I called Charlotte in San Francisco. I'm like, why did I break up with again? It was like 5 years.
And
She's
then
like,
she busts
he
out
was
the
this, he was
scroll.
that. Remember that time he didn't call? I'm like, oh yeah, right. Thanks, bye. Like, it almost helps to write it down. But we do that. It's fine. You're going to move through this, just know that you will. You're doing all the right things. But don't get back to you didn't make a mistake. Trust your gut. Hi, Emily. I've been in a monogamous relationship with my 25-year-old boyfriend for almost 3 years. We've always had pretty good sex, but he never has really been able to make me orgasm. I can do so no problem by myself. So the past few months, we've really been trying to get me to orgasm when we have sex. When we keep tripping up on the communication during sex. He seems to get very offended when I try to give him directions. Guys don't love directions. A few times it's caused a fight, and we end up not having sex at all. He says the way I'm saying things makes him feel bad. He even said that one time I'm being too detailed. I'm very frustrated and confused because we don't seem to be on the same page. Each time we try again, I'm trying to make a conscious effort to say things as nicely as I can. I do think I should be direct, meaning I should verbally say what I want versus just a moan here and there when it feels good. But he doesn't even like that. He thinks that, it's making him feel inadequate. I don't know. What am I doing wrong? Like, how can I be clear without hurting his feelings? Please help me. Again, thanks so much for your amazing advice and sex positive attitude. It's truly changed my life for the better.
Yeah.
XX, Sophie, 24, Texas.
All right, Sophie, question. How much does it cost to buy a house in Texas? Because it's so damn cheap. So lucky.
I don't know why you asked why.
Anyways, no, I was on Zillow last night looking at houses in Texas.
If you bought her a house, you'd sure have an orgasm. You'd have a multiple orgasm.
Yeah, what I always say, just throw bags on them. That's how they orgasm.
Throw bags?
Yeah.
Like Louis Vuitton?
Well, I'm more of a YSL guy myself.
I'm so glad you're more I told you more YSL now. I'm the one who told you.
No way.
You say Louis Vuitton, and I was like, it's YSL.
No.
And I love that you just said that.
No. I said YSL. I've been saying YSL
No,
for
you
years.
haven't. But I love this.
Anyways,
You're so mature.
I'm
Look how 37.
Okay.
So sophisticated.
No, the thing I was gonna say is, and the question we should ask is, does she know how to make herself orgasm?
Yes, she does. That's a good question. She did say that she can orgasm on her own. Okay. So she could do so no problem by herself.
All right.
And
then, sorry to interrupt.
No,
I was just gonna say, what you're gonna say, like you always say, is why don't you show them?
Right.
This is what I do.
Exactly.
Here's the blueprints.
Exactly. Like literally the blueprints. But this is a little different because here's the issue with this one. And yes, you're going to have to show up. But she's been trying to tell him in bed. She's like, listen, babe, like put your finger here. He thinks he gets turned off whenever he gets like annoyed and he feels like she's being like, what did he say? He gets upset. He actually, he gets offended when she gives him directions. Because here's the thing. A lot of guys and women, they're insecure when it comes to sex. They're also 24 years old. So not as much experience. So think about all the pressure that men and women have with leading into sex, right? So even before that, I just know this from hearing from thousands and thousands of men over the years, that you guys have to make the first move, typically. You're expected to know what you're doing. For a lot of guys, they have insecurities how their penis is going to work.
Yeah.
If they're going to get up and down again, like you, Menace, all these concerns.
Yo-yo.
So they're just insecure, and he wants to rock your world, Sophie. He really does. And it's hard for guys to hear they're not pleasing their partner. Like, it's just, he's like, I failed. Like, you probably went to like, I'm not pleasing you because you're giving me instructions, you're giving me directions. And so this is really sensitive for a lot of guys, right?
There's ways to have a discussion where it's not like saying that, hey, you suck at this.
Well, she's not, though. She's just saying, babe, can you move your left, right? He's getting offended.
Yeah.
So this is a different case of it. And it sounds like to me like this needs a little repair. Like a little like repair conversation. Because with guys, like also once they get a bad review of things, like they never forget it. Like this one time my penis didn't work. So it's repair. So undo the damage that you did not intentionally do, but you've got to just like sit with him because he's, and just, you got to say like, you got to build him back up. You got to say like, babe, like I love,
guys should welcome.
I love having sex with you.
Direction,
Some do. And some, I think, just it triggers something in them. Maybe their dad was always correcting them when they were trying to play basketball. It came to their little league games and were like, or I know that's baseball, little league, not basketball, right?
Basketball and
I was saying
Little League,
basketball and little league, but they're like, dude, run faster, run faster. Like they never get that out of their head. It's whatever it's triggering in him. It's not about you. It's how he learns. So you got to build him back up. Like let him know what you do love about sex. What makes you hot. Like let him know. And timing and tone is everything. So we weren't there in the bedroom with you, Sophie. We don't know how you were saying it. You might have been like, oh no, to the left, to the right, like no more, oh babe, and get frustrated, or your tone could have been direct. It triggered him in a way also. So it doesn't matter like how nice you're being or anything. If you're giving him these directions in the heat of the moment, like he might get impatient. We don't know what's happening. So talk about it outside the bedroom. Let him know. Always good to talk outside the bedroom with a lot of these things. Like let him know the positives. Like, babe, I really want our sex life to be great. And so it's already great. But we're both focusing so hard on my orgasm right now that I think we're both getting a little frustrated. And I think that we're working on like having an orgasm towards sex. And I actually realized I don't expect you to automatically know what I need. And maybe it's even been unfair. It's been unfair that, I haven't, maybe I've made you feel bad because I thought we could do this together. But I actually know like how to give myself an orgasm. And is there, I'm thinking like, is there a better way that I could tell you this? Is there a better way I could let you know? Because I also want you to be able to tell me what feels good to you, sweetie. Let's talk about this. Because I think that, if they both have a talk about it, you can be like, yeah, well, it's the way you say it, or it's the way you do it, or who knows what it is. So if you, show me, then he might say to you, yeah, like it was the way you said it in bed, or so I think like mutual masturbation is great. Like I'm a huge fan of mutual masturbation. You could sit and be like, babe, well, let me just show you. You can masturbate, I can masturbate. You could put your hands over my hands. But I know we're trying this thing together, but Sophie, you know how to orgasm. And here's for women a great transition. And again, I hear this from women all the time. Most women can orgasm during intercourse. It doesn't come naturally for many women. 30% do, okay? And of those 30%, not every single time. So a lot of times what you do is make this transition where you do, I guess it's like potty training. Oh my God, why is this going to my head? But like you're on the little toilet and you like pee, and then all day your parents are on the big toilet. It's like you got to like do this slow transition where like that you rub your hands on your clitoris, and you use some lube and you do it, and like you can do that same movement like with him there or with his penis inside of you. So just kind of make that like maybe it's awkward the first time because you're kind of maybe you stop. He puts his penis, and then you stop and you go back to masturbate. You just need to figure it out, and you train on his penis, and then you'll get there. You make the transition.
Yeah,
so
just
directions. It's like
yeah.
Some guys don't want it. Do you stop and ask for directions when you're lost? I mean, no one gets lost anymore because of ways.
Yeah, no. I mean, I had never been shy even before navigation on that, but I don't know why a guy would ever get upset. It doesn't make sense. But yeah, I guess there's, it's very 2016, 2017 to say triggers, but I guess say
it is right. It's a good word though. There's something in it because some people would get mad, some people wouldn't. There was other thing I wanted to say that okay, so this reminds me of a somatic experiment. Maybe my Celeste and Danielle class I took.
Yeah.
There was a student in the class. We would break up into class. We'd break out groups. And this one time we just pair up. And I was with a guy. And the exercise was that the guy had to show you that he was interested in you, like flirt with you, and show you that he was interested in you in a way that I felt that it was like real. Like, because they teach you that, like how to bring your flirt on. So he started doing it, and then you have to give feedback, and then you switch, and then I'd have to flirt with him. So after the 10 minutes, he did it, and I said to him, listen, I said, I didn't feel like you did feedback. Like I didn't feel like it was really, you were really bringing it. I felt like you were more in your head, and that it wasn't like an authentic flirt. Like it seemed sort of cheesy, that he was like nervous, and he wasn't bringing that up, whatever the actual authentic flirt that we'd learned this technique. And he was like, oh, okay, well, are you sure? Like, can I do it again? Or he got really upset by it. Like it was like, and I was like, dude, no, I'm not saying that you're bad at this. Like we also practice on giving the goods and the bad, the positives and the negatives. I was like, no, you were great when you started, but I felt like your head got a little twisted, and it was fine. And then the next, like, I'm trying to think, it was the next workshop. It was the next workshop that was 6 weeks later. I went back to San Francisco to the workshop, and he came up to me and he said, I really need to do that exercise with you again. It's really been upsetting me. It was 6 weeks later.
Wow.
He's like, I can't even talk to women now. I feel like,
serious?
yeah, I feel like I let you down. And not because he has feelings for me. He's married, his wife, I think, was in the class. He's like, but I felt like you, and it was like, oh, and I know I've always known this heart was like, literally could not let it go. He had to redo it with me. And I'm just saying that there are things that like, it's hard for people sometimes to take feedback. And I like that he told me that because then we were able to repair it. And he did the exercise again and it all worked out.
Nice.
Yeah. Celeste and Danielle, who I love. And if you have a chance to meet them, you should friggin' take this chance because they're amazing. I did the groundbreaking somatica work I was just talking about with them last year. You're going to have a chance to work them as well because they're teaching a how to flirt workshop, funny enough. And you might think like, oh, I already know how to flirt. I got all the babes. It goes deeper than that. It's not just like, hey, but there's like a whole art to it. The way they teach everything is mind-blowing. Like if you already feel uncomfortable approaching women or men, not even approaching, that's like the wrong word, but turning your sex on and feeling connected, they will teach you in this workshop, whether you're single, dating, or even just trying to keep the spark up in your relationship. It's called Flirting Your Way to Success. It's a 5-hour workshop. It's friggin' free. So it's 12 to 3 is the workshop, or 10 to 3 is the workshop. 3 to 5, there's a free Intro to Somatica course. It's in Manhattan Beach. It's February 12th, Sunday. I'm going to be there. My whole team's going to be there. If you want information, go to somaticainstitute.com /somatica skills. And we've been like tweeting about it. It's on our Facebook and Twitter and all that stuff. Yeah. Do you want to go?
What's the date?
February 12th.
February 12th.
Right before Valentine's
Don't
Day.
I? Oh, yeah. You said that.
Okay. I love you all. Thank you, Menace. It's really good to see you.
It's nice to see you, too.
I know.
I'm glad to see that you're getting
Upright.
better.
I am better.
Yeah, you're
so
getting
much
it all
better.
together.
Dude, my whole life came together this month. It's amazing. Okay, thank you very much for listening. Thank you for following us on Snapchat and Twitter and Instagram.
I know. How you been with that?
Dude, I'm really good.
Oh, remember we were when you were in the hospital, we were doing Facebook Live.
That was
so
so
much
fun. Like, then my whole family, everyone got to understand. But I had more crap from that. We got to talk about it another time. From that
Okay.
Facebook Live in a funny way. I have to tell you about it later.
Okay.
But yeah, we do Facebook Live. You should check out our Instagram stories and Snapchats and all that stuff. It's all at Sex with Emily.
Yeah.
I love you all. I love my team. Thank you to Madison and Eddie and Jamie and all of you. And thanks so much for listening. Was it good for you? Email me, feedback@sexwithemily.com.